into casinos.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 2nd Wilton Town Board meeting. I'm going to start with a public hearing, the demolition of 7 Sorrow Lane. Has anybody signed up to speak?
No. Do you have anything to say?
I just went by the property today and level up and from the driveway, so there's a little bit, that's the day to move the car.
All over the place now, so I can't really get in there to do it with my sewage. So I can't do it. Yes, there's rocks that I had that were on the edge of my property. They've been picked up and thrown all over my yard. Where I can't lift them to get into where I need to get to do anything, because they're too heavy for me. I can't lift that kind of weight.
Can't lift the stuff inside the wall.
That's your property.
Yes.
Is there a vegetation?
No.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. I'd like to start the regular meeting with the pledge of flag. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Lant.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor McCaffrey. Councilman Bogardus.
Here.
Councilwoman Pelican. Here. Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Anybody signed up to speak?
Yes. We have Alexa Tempo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm going to give you 3 minutes here. Okay, go ahead.
So my name is Alexandra Bontempo. I live in Albany. I worked as an epidemiologist for the New York State Department of Health for 30 years, and my job consisted of review and analysis of health data. I'm here because many in Malta have now heard from water fluoridation proponents, but not from people who are opposed. I looked at the data on fluoridation after I learned that Albany planned to fluoridate. I will share with you what I discovered, and so you can get a different perspective. The positive impact fluoridated water has on dental health is minimal, if it exists at all today. In the mid-40s, when water fluoridation was new, they fluoridated at a higher concentration than today, and they did see a positive impact on cavity rates. In 1960, fluoridated toothpaste came on the scene, and throughout the 70s and 80s, these products became the norm. So now the positive effects of water fluoridation on dental health no longer hold up. Even official published data from the New York State Health Department shows no difference in cavities between counties that fluoridate and those that don't. And neither does the World Health Organization data looking at differences in countries that fluoridate and those that don't. And a newly published peer-reviewed article looking at effectiveness in the UK was the largest study ever done on 6.4 million people over 10 years, just published in January. Found the effects to be minimal, about 2 to 3% on cavity rates. Another source corroborates these official peer-reviewed findings. It's a data report by the Cochrane Collaboration, which is a consortium of 30,000 scientists, and it's considered the gold standard on effectiveness. So 2 to 3% is virtually no difference and much lower than the older CDC data that's being referenced of 25% reduction. Although proponents claim that fluoridated water is safe and effective, this is not true. Since fluoridation began, there have been countless peer-reviewed publications by well-respected scientists that show health risks from ingesting fluoridated water. These include risk of skeletal fracture, kidney damage, thyroid issues, and neurological effects, including lower IQ in babies born to mothers who consume fluoride. In fact, there's currently a lawsuit against the EPA regarding neurological ill health effects of fluoride. The judge should decide soon on this case. It ended in February. If there's a yes vote by the Water Board, and I really hope there will not be, I urge them to do nothing until that judge renders his verdict on this federal case. In addition, there's a small percent of individuals who have a chemical sensitivity and will suffer ill effects of dangerous fluoride. These include headaches, joint pain, and gastrointestinal issues. And this is why no one should be forced to consume water treated with a product that under normal circumstances must be prescribed as a medical treatment. So it is not a one-size-fits-all solution. The reason given for the initial vote of no by the Water Board is really the best reason, personal choice, not to be forced to ingest a medical treatment if you don't consent to that. Thank you for letting me speak.
No, absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
You're sharing the feelings.
Good.
Joanne Klepetar?
Good evening. I was wondering whether, when or if this board is going to take up short-term rentals. Last year, it was a big issue for a lot of residents, and I thought it had been taken care of because I did ask one town board member, and they said, oh, it's all set. I recently had to research that for a friend of mine, and there's nothing at all. And I wonder if this board is going to take that up. Thank you.
We're working on it right now.
Amy Lamalfa?
Tuesday. No, it's not Tuesday, the 21st.
Hi, so I am a Wilton resident, and I am a mother of 2 children, and I'm here also to speak about the fluoride, the fluoridation of our water. I am against it, and I just prepared a little something that I'll just read to explain to you why I'm against it. So, as a healthcare professional, a doctor of pharmacy, I will say that there is absolutely no medical intervention that does not carry risks. There is also no such thing as settled science. Science is always questioning, always evolving, and never settled. Freedom to choose should always be a human right, never infringed upon for any reason, especially when it comes to putting things into our body. So I'm going to quote something I heard the other night at the education meeting for pushing fluoridation. He used to be the director of CDC for the whole dental association. And he said, and I quote, "We have a choice to not drink the water." So that was really, I was taken back, like, wow, really? That's a choice, right? Okay, so that is not only absurd, but downright evil and extremely harmful to the health and this argument of fluoride. Human beings need water to survive. Fluoride is not required for survival. Getting a prescription from your doctor, if both parties feel the benefits are greater than the risks, is the ethical way to go, because then everyone has a say in what enters his or her own body. It seems as if the Hippocratic Oath is in dire need of a revival to do no harm. We pay for our water, we pay for our homes, we pay for our land and all the taxes that come with it. We should not have to buy it or import our water from elsewhere. There are financial agendas at play, money to be made by those who are trying to literally force feed us fluorophilic acid, which is China's industrial waste. We already get plenty, whether we want to or not, from toothpaste, drinks, and foods we purchase that are watered with it or grown in the soil that is high in it. That is bad enough. I certainly don't want it in my home to cook with, bathe in, and drink more of it. It accumulates in the soil and in the body. Food boiled in it attains a much higher concentration than once thought. The many established and potential harms do not outweigh the small, if really any, benefit that is being claimed. It can and may harm the thyroid, the nervous system, the pineal gland, the kidneys, or lead to early onset of puberty and or decreased melatonin production from the pineal gland accumulation. Dental skeletal fluorosis can also happen, or it can cause cognitive impairment, enzyme and electrolyte derangement, or even cancer. I'd rather end up with one more cavity than to lose IQ points or have my thyroid function disrupted or any part of my health that is much harder or impossible to remediate. Teeth can be remediated.
Thank you for coming and speaking.
Just so you guys are aware that Wilton Water will be having their next meeting on Tuesday, May 21st at 4 p.m., where that'll come up for a vote. as well.
Thank you.
Which is open to the public.
And people will have time to speak before the vote.
I don't know. I have not attended
I
their
imagine
meeting.
so.
We don't have any jurisdiction over what they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a public hearing, but they may allow you to speak.
Yeah, make the meeting.
We will be there.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
And we will be ridiculed and stared at with angry glances.
Yes.
Like, I just went to quietly watch last week, but wow, did you get some nasty looks when you had your,
I know.
research.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve April's minutes?
I got people sitting in the room who all supported it anyway. I'm like, we're here to educate. You're already on the same team.
For a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Demolition of 7 Sorrow Lane. You want to speak, Mark?
Yeah, I already spoke it. The owner, Mr. Bond, is right here.
Yes, I have serious health condition, and I'm gonna still fight to do what I can to get it done when I can. And I've got people that are willing to help me as soon as they're over being sick, because they can't come around me if they're sick. Because my health is compromised.
If we were to give an additional extension of time, how much time do you think you need? My understanding is the property's been in this condition for years.
Yeah, well, I started back in 2021 trying to clean it up, and then that's when I became seriously sick. Started with, what do you call it, pneumonia, because I was out there working in the rain trying to get it done. And then winter came, that was the end of November, and then I couldn't do anything with it, and then I've been sick with this other issue since then.
Are the conditions in the house also making you sick?
No, because I haven't been staying in the
Okay.
house.
Oh, so nobody lives there?
No.
Oh, okay.
But this has been an ongoing issue for a few years. I know local fire departments have gotten complaints about a fire hazard, any type of brush fire in the surrounding area of that property is going to cause a humongous fire and probably burn down adjoining properties to it. It needs to be cleaned up. It's not like it's just happened over the last month.
No.
This is years of neglect. And unfortunately, I don't want to be a rude person, but that falls upon you. I understand you have health issues, but you're creating a situation that is dangerous to all your neighbors as well.
Yeah, and my neighbors seem to
It
just
needs to be cleaned up.
come after me, come there and throw my rocks that were on the edge of my lawn
Yep.
all over. Now I can't get into
Right.
where my stuff
So
is.
obviously, your neighbors are getting upset with the property as well. It needs to be cleaned up. I drove by it and looked at it. It is a very high hazard area, health-wise and fire-wise. I understand you have some medical issues going on, but it needs to be mitigated sooner than later. Not, maybe within the month, but not 6 months, not 8 months, not... Fire season's coming up, brush fire season's coming up.
30 days as well.
That's a high risk.
30 days is what I'm thinking.
I'll see what I can do.
I believe
have as much as possible.
Mrs. Baker, you think you could get the scouts to help her?
It's possible.
The project?
Yes. It might not be within the next couple of weeks, but...
Right. We realize that.
I think we should determine if that's
I mean,
safe.
unless it's dangerous to
Is that
them.
safe for kids? I mean,
To be honest with you,
is that a hazmat? Kind
there's
of-
trash that's been there for years.
Like the house on Jones?
I'd be
It's a hazmat.
I'd be reluctant to send my kid in there.
One of Jones?
I stopped by the property a couple of weeks ago.
That is that.
Your Honor?
Yeah, I'm not sure, as town legal counsel, I'm not sure I'm comfortable that we suggest that it become a scout project unless our health officer says that there's no health concerns in sending kids on the property. Otherwise, I would not be comfortable with the town sponsoring that activity.
Thank you for thinking of the scouts, though. We appreciate that.
My yard's a little cleaner.
Got some laundry that needs...
I'm willing to go 30 days. And if we see some improvements, then we could certainly, but if there's no improvements in 30 days, then I think we should just move forward with the...
Mark, is that something you can do, re-inspect it in 30 days?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that your motion, John?
That'll be my motion, yes.
I'll second.
May 2nd, so we go to June 2nd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Revisit that at the June 6th meeting.
All right.
If there's improvement and it seems like it's moving along, then we could probably keep going with the extension. But if there's no improvement or no change, then
So we'll put it back on the agenda for June 6th.
correct.
So June 6th.
Is it the second or?
Sixth.
Sixth.
Next time.
Joanne's birthday.
Okay.
Amanda Palfrey wants to resign from the Zoning Board of Appeals. We need a motion to accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept your resignation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I think they voted on that one.
Amanda Palfrey would like to be appointed to Wilton Planning Board as an alternate from 5/2/24 to 12/31/24.
I'll make the motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. MOU for Wilton Wildlife Grant. You want to talk about that, Raymond?
Yeah, so I've had discussions over the most recent couple of weeks with Margot Olson about the grant, CFA grant, is that what it's called? Very substantial grant. What was that, remind me?
It was $188,000.
Yeah, to be used as part of the Larry Gordon Environmental Education Center project. And one of the conditions of that grant to be actually receive the funding is that there be a agreement, cooperative agreement between the town and the Wilton Wildlife Preserve, similar to what's been in place for a long time. The board of the Wilton Wildlife Preserve drafted an agreement. I reviewed it, had a couple of changes. It does not bind us to a dollar amount, specific hours of town staff work on the site. I don't know if Marty, you or the board members want to make other comments about the agreement.
Is there a sunset?
5 years.
Okay, good.
I mean, we just used actually language that had been in our previous yearly contracts, basically saying, this is what we provide for the town of Wilton in terms of services and activities and programs, and then the town provides us access to buildings, and so it's again, as Ray said, it's pretty straightforward. It's a requirement. We can't use our yearly contract because the state requires it to cover the whole period of the grant. And so they give you a 5-year window for that. So you've already submitted, you approved, there was a resolution supporting the project that was part of us getting the grant, but this was something extra that we didn't realize that they did.
Council, do you have any comments on the...
I have one important question. It's only important to me. There's a legal difference between a memorandum of understanding and an agreement. This document seems to bounce back and forth between the two.
Okay.
We should figure out which one it is intended to be in, and there are 4 places that in approximately, between 40 and 45 seconds I can make consistent. It's supposed to be a legally binding agreement, that's my sense, but I don't know, or a feel-good, not legally binding memorandum of understanding. I haven't the faintest idea which it's supposed to be, but it should not bounce back and forth and be a hybrid.
I'm not sure either. The term that we've used in discussing it in the past is MOU, but I don't know if
They
that's
said
accurate.
any kind of contract, agreement, memorandum of understanding. So they kind of said anything that shows that there is a
Like a willful intent to
partnership.
cooperate?
Right.
All right, if that's the case, then my suggestion is that we have it be a memorandum of understanding, and like I said, literally in 45 seconds, I'll mark it up and make it consistent.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
When's the clock start?
Start now. He's being paid now to clock it.
So I'll make a motion that, based on council's...
45 seconds? I'll second his motion.
You want to table it until the end, after 45?
All right, why don't we do that? We'll come back to it after council
Take
is
the
done.
pressure off.
I'm halfway done.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Oh, Sue, you should have set the timer. Would have loved to have that thing go off. I would have loved to have heard that thing go off.
It is set. Getting close.
I just don't write that. I just don't write that.
Getting close.
Pencils down.
What's your final answer?
We know you bill by the hour, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, so the next 45 seconds goes to the full.
Thank you. Would you like to read it?
Do you want to enlighten us?
Do you want to
That might take more than
give us
45
a
seconds.
quick summary of what the
There ain't much to summarize. The word agreement is the fourth word. The fourth word is agreement, and I've taken that out and replaced it with memorandum of understanding. That's at the opening of the document. The very last paragraph of the document, the word agreement appears in the last full sentence, and I've crossed out the word agreement and replaced it with memorandum of understanding. If somebody has this on some sort of system, it would take them another 45 seconds to make the changes.
I'll make them, second. I'll second.
Yes, so subject to the modifications by council, I'll move that we approve the memorandum of understanding with the Wilton Wildlife Preserve.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Number 9, I'd like to look into getting all our streetlights changed to LEDs.
We have 98 street lights.
So we're looking at, see if there's any grants, National Grid. Need somebody to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in
I'd like
favor?
to know where they are, but
Opposed? Carried.
Just street lights, not traffic.
Oh, the intersections.
As you go down Davison Drive from Northern Pines, you get to that bend, goes towards the left, that log cabin was there. Woman bought it, she's had 6 cars go through there, so she'd like to have, there's a pole there.
I haven't done it in years.
You did it 8 times though.
Twice.
It's a good thing it's...
Not me, my kids got the mail. I had to put the mailbox in twice.
It does, it looks...
She'd like to have a street light there on the pole, it's pole number 6. I told her we'd look into it. I contacted National Grid, they said we have to make a resolution through the town board first. So I need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion, we put one on pole 6 on Davison Drive with LED.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Committee reports.
Working on that short-term legislation again.
That's what I had mentioned. It was being worked on. It wasn't
It is.
that it was being done. It was being worked on.
Yeah. Well, when we visited back in 2020, when we first started, when COVID happened, then in 22, we took a harder look at our zoning, which already included information on short-term, difference between short-term and long-term. But now with the evolution of 2 years since then, we'll look at it again and see what, now some towns closer to ours are also starting to take a look at it.
And there's case law back.
And there's more case law. Before, there was no case,
Are we going to address the length of stay in that committee too?
That'd be the committees.
We have that to form a committee.
Oh, I thought we formed a committee.
Yeah. Councilwoman Colligan.
Oh, you're on.
Anybody got anything else?
I got something. When you're ready.
You're on.
Just gonna read it. Okay, so I, along with the Town of Wilton Community Day organizers, have planned a full array of entertainment, attractions, and activities for the Town of Wilton residents and their families scheduled on Saturday, June 22nd, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at our beautiful Gavin Park. Admission is free. When parking your car, you will be given a short survey to complete and turn it in to receive a free gift while they last. The day includes entertainment by Skippy and the Pistons and other fun activities that include several bounce houses, a photo booth, free balloon sculptures, face painting, magician, George Satirial, juggler, and comedian Bryson Lang, and beer and wine tasting. And there's more. There will be several contests, including cookie decorating, ice cream eating, soccer shootout, sidewalk chalk, cornhole, and pickleball. Brooks Barbecue will be there doing what they do best. You must pre-order and present your ticket. The chicken barbecue dinner will be $15 each and cooked on site. Dinners will include their famous barbecue chicken, baked potato with sour cream, coleslaw rolls, and a beverage and chocolate chip cookie. Tickets will be sold at Wilton Recreation at Gavin Park and Town Hall Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, starting Monday, April 15th, 2024. There will be a limited number of dinners sold, so don't wait. Bring your appetite because food will be served all day, including sausage and peppers presented by the Wilton Elks. Wilton Saratoga Elks, creative caterer, burgers, dogs, funnel cake, Kona ice, kettle corn, and more. Wilton is proud to host this event. It's a great way to bring everyone in our community together for a fun-filled day. And thank you.
Thank you, John. And I believe the conduit's all put in for...
Yeah, I got that. That'll be great.
That's done.
You can get going on that. That'll be the last thing for a while.
Maria, you want to do your controller's report, please?
Sure thing, thank you. So the first item is our 2024 budget transfers, and the first item in that category is the annual allocation of our already agreed upon budget to various roads that will be paved and improved for the summer season. So that is just requiring a budget transfer to allocate funds that are already approved in the budget to specific departments.
I'll make that
Somebody
motion for budget transfer.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. The second category is our 2024 budget amendments, and I'm leveraging interest that we're earning over and above what is already budgeted to pay for certain items that have come up, one of which we discussed last month but was errantly omitted, is the senior center repairs and maintenance for the alarm that we'd like to put in. The cost is $12,237. It's for fire, security, and carbon monoxide. The second item that we are leveraging interest for is a little bit more minimal, but a very important one, is the pumps that we just put in at the highway area for the fuel pumps. It comes with software that we use to bill out for whomever is using the fuel. And the tech support started to charge us on a per usage, per call, and it started to add up. And I said, wait a second, we have a contract now for $550, which is just a little bit more than the first few invoices that we received. So those invoices were waived because we're going into this agreement. It also includes updates as needed. So I think it was a worthwhile investment. The third item that we're leveraging interest for is for safety training for a new bucket truck. So if the bucket truck is approved in the next category, in the next item,
the training certainly costs us more than the training.
The training is pretty important. It's true. The truck that we currently have is, of course, as you've been made aware, it's been put out of service and it's very old. So whatever training had been done for that truck would not necessarily, be sufficient for the new truck, which is new technology and so forth. So it's unfortunately expensive, but I think it's worth it to make sure that the men who are going to use the truck are
always kept safe.
Yeah. So that's $3,900. So the next two items are also related to the bucket truck, and they're related to each other. Our unused ARPA money resides in the general fund, and we're going to take the unused ARPA money to help pay for the bucket truck by transferring it from the general fund to the highway fund. That's number 4. And number 5, which is related, is taking the money from the general fund to the highway fund as a transfer, and then increasing the appropriation for the purchase of the bucket truck, which is available on the Sourcewell contract. That's $188,596 for the new truck.
And that truck's gonna get here faster than that truck for prepping the roads in the winter?
Probably could be here within a few weeks.
That's a brand new truck, right?
Yes, in South Carolina.
You driving it up, right?
Might have to make a trip down there.
So items 6 and 7 are also related in that they apply to the design phase of the Carr Jones project. That's going to be happening over the next couple of years, when we get into construction phase. But for now, we're just in the design phase. And what I'm doing is leveraging money from the highway fund to transfer to the capital projects fund, because the capital projects fund for the Carr Road design and construction will encapsulate all expenditures, all revenues, all transfers, other financing sources and uses will be accounted for in the one capital projects fund, so that from here to eternity, we'll always know how much this project cost us because it's in one place.
Well, Ryan, that project will not impact personal property.
We don't know yet, but more than likely.
Oh, it's gotta.
Maine's gonna have to come in the back.
I'm not sure. We don't, that's the thing, we're in the survey right now.
Not signed yet.
And then we'll send the survey.
Yeah, we'll have a survey done.
Most of it could be the easements.
So
Most
you
of it
want to
should be in
make a
our easement.
motion for 1 through 7 budget amendments?
I'll make that motion.
A second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. The third category is our asset disposal. John King, who is the Gavin Park Maintenance Supervisor, is requesting to sell his 2014 Ram 500 and the Fisher 8-foot plow on Auctions International. We just received the new dump truck, and it's sitting in our garage here, waiting for plates. The second item under asset disposal is Highway Superintendent Mike Monroe would like to dispose of the aforementioned obsolete bucket truck.
Dispose, or are we trying to sell it as is?
So
Be sold as is.
options to sell as is.
Yeah, I talked to her how to put it on there. I want it sold as is and failing the report, or failing,
Right,
Yeah,
Right.
documentation.
right.
The
so that
auction-
we're out of,
Yes, so that we're being as plain as possible.
Correct.
The vehicle condition report that goes up to Auctions International will include all of that information.
We want to make a motion, A and B together.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The fourth category is personnel. The procurement policy that the town of Wilton has needs update occasionally when there are personnel changes, because there's a section in there that outlines who is responsible for purchasing for their departments and what their titles are. So we've had a couple of changes recently where Melissa Strong and Shari Worth Holden should be identified as the parties responsible for making purchases and monitoring budgets for their department. The second item under personnel is that we have an employee who is out sick for about a week and a half or so. And she had included sick leave on her time card as appropriate. While she was gone, her anniversary date came up. And unfortunately, she lost some hours of vacation inadvertently without her really being on top of it because, again, being sick. The request that she's making is to substitute the sick leave that she's already put on her timesheet and has been processed with vacation leave, so that in essence what we're doing is replenishing the forfeited vacation leave. We occasionally do these things when it's for a specific purpose, not as a blanket policy that we do at any time an employee asks, but in this case there's a specific reason.
Can we just remind her that she needs to use her vacation leave more prudently before the end of her anniversary day?
Yes, absolutely.
I know we had that issue with
Yes. The third item under personnel is that Nicole Monroe, who is our valuation assistant, who works in the assessor's department, is requesting approval to continue to work as the assessor for the town of Saratoga. Her hours of the town of Wilton will remain the same, so there's no change here to her work hours, which will be Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and that Nicole has already received approval from her department head, Tina Weber. The last item is that Mark Mikens, who is our senior building inspector, is requesting to hire Julianne LaBreche for the position of senior clerk to fill the position that was vacated recently by Tammy Morgan. If approved, Ms. LaBreche would be hired at the base salary of $21.37 per hour, and her anticipated start date is Tuesday, May 21st.
Should be working with Mark Lincoln.
Yes.
Somebody want to make a motion personally through D?
I'll make a motion to approve personnel items A through D.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Item 5 is our capital projects funds, and it's a little bit informational, but I think it's a good idea that the board approves the use of these capital projects funds. Some of them are new, some of them are old. We have balances in most of them. We can get more into detail about what we plan on doing when we have our long-term capital projects meeting. But for now, I just wanted to make the board aware of what funds are out there and active in our capital projects category of governmental funds, and the fact that these funds are sourced with transfers from the general fund, usually, sometimes, as we just saw with our highway fund money as well. And the purpose of the capital projects fund is just to accumulate resources for the purchase or construction of capital assets.
What's the multi-use building?
The multi-use building is a name that was given to the courthouse building years ago when it was devised that we would be doing it.
We used to use it for voting and stuff like
A
that.
lot of things.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want a motion on that capital funds?
Yes, please.
I'll make a,
What's the Route 50 traffic safety and pedestrian connectivity?
So that's going to be the other set of roundabouts that we do. We haven't expended any money from there, and we haven't received any invoices. Well, we have received an invoice, but I have not put that through yet. But we set up a fund to do the same thing, to capture those expenses and revenues related just to that specific project. This way, it's kept separate from the Jones and Clark project.
That's the Ingersoll
Design.
joint. When that Belmonte
No.
contributed to that neighborhood.
Well, he contributed to the Jones Road corridor. We left it at that. Just the design only for the Route 50 intersections.
And just as an FYI, with the court building, we've had about $21,000 of new expenditures or planned expenditures coming through now. There were chairs that were purchased, just folding chairs for everyday use, but we also need to think about, I think, the seating for court for trial. So that's something that if you have maybe a preference for how you want those to look, or so we have money for that set aside, but if we can start to spend this money down and then we can transfer the unused amount back to the general fund or to other capital projects funds.
21,000 in that account. I know there's...
No, sorry, we have just over 180 in there.
The
But
21 is the security
current.
upgrades that you spoke with last month.
Exactly. Like the
Yeah, I talked to them about the trial seating and stuff, and they seemed to say the chairs were going to be okay to do. I
Okay.
thought they had to have something special, but I'll revisit that.
Yeah.
But I know it was like 21,000 for the security improvements and the chairs. and stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
We're also doing some tinting in the office because it's a
On the
big
windows
glare.
from the outside, backside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The side that faces.
We could ask Donald Trump.
Was there a motion made on the project funds?
Right.
yeah, I'll make a
Second.
motion to affirm or establish the listed capital project funds.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. And the last item is just kind of a quick update on our security deposits. We were, for a brief moment in time, collecting security deposits for rentals, whether the rental was for the next day or 6 months or even further out. And it just caused a lot of bookkeeping back and forth unnecessarily. The whole intention there was to make sure that if somebody reserved, that they actually had money and that they were going to have skin in the game, basically. They weren't just going to reserve willy-nilly and not do anything with it. But what we found that works better is that only when a rental is 6 months or more out will we take the check and cash it.
And that's mostly like Gavin Park stuff.
That's correct, yeah. And for the pavilion, for the ball fields.
Okay. Do you want a resolution to establish that as policy?
Yes, please.
So I'll make a motion to establish this policy that we take security deposits for rentals that are 6 months or more from the date of the event.
Second?
Take them or cash them?
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry, was that take the check or cash the check?
We're
Accepting and cashing.
We're depositing, right, and then we return it after the event, provided that the field or the pavilion was left in good condition.
It was a second?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. Anybody got anything else? Make a motion adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Carried.
Thank you all for coming.